Our very first day at Harvard, a very wise professor quoted Aristotle. The law is reason free from passion. Well, no offense to Aristotle, but in my 3 years at Harvard, I have come to find that passion is a key ingredient to the study and practice of law and of life. It is with passion, courage of conviction, and strong sense of self that we take our next steps into the world, remembering that first impressions are not always correct. You must always have faith in people. And most importantly, you must always have faith in yourself.
On July 11th, state's evidence was leaked online in the Alexee Trevizo case, specifically medical records from the night in question. Because of the limited chain of custody on state's evidence, the main speculation echoed across the internet was that the leak had to have came from someone who was close to and supports Alexee Trevizo. Throughout my own investigation, more and more information came out, proving the medical records were court-ordered, the print date, the name of who printed them, and 10th Woman's insistence on and failing to prove that wrong. In my very first video covering the leaking of the medical records, I said this, asking 10th Woman to clear Team Trevizo's name.
I'm assuming, thinking maybe she will find this, hopefully look at this, and want to clear Alexee Trevizo's team from any possible misdoing, especially if she is very upset in the hospital.
All I've ever desired was the truth. At the time of this first video, I did not have the print date, and I asked Melinda to clear Team Trevizo's name, because I knew if it wasn't Rosa who gave these documents to 10th Woman, the person who did give them to 10th Woman would have committed a crime. And I care about this trial being able to continue fairly for both sides. Overnight, I obtained messages between 10th Woman and her source. Before I go any further, this is my public retraction and apology to Rosa for my previous opinion. I could not understand someone being such a selfish and self-serving person to have taken advantage of this situation and leaked these documents. Where I could rationalize and understand a mother trying to protect her child from the vitriol of the internet. You will see from the messages coming up in a second, the thought that it was Rosa was encouraged by the leaker in 10th Woman purposefully, because the unfathomable was done by the person who leaked these records. The names of Team Trevizo, including Rosa, as well as Alexee's sister, which will make sense here in a minute, must be cleared. I owe it to Alexee, Rosa, Team Trevizo, the internet, and the sanctity of the legal process to make known this information. Despite my bias in regards to the charges against Alexee, the truth is more important than anything else. My apologies to all of them. I hope my investigation helps with evidence that can be used when subpoenaing testimony in regards to this matter. And I also hope that it helps because according to New Mexico law, this could take away any claim of press privilege 10th Woman might try to claim. Before we get into the information, I want to credit Sarah for coming forward with this and helping get to the bottom of all of this and finding the truth. She said it was okay for me to bring this information forward. I blocked out her last name just in case anyone who doesn't like the information in this video wants to try and report it for personal identifying information or anything, even though she did give me permission. And again, I want to thank her and praise her for coming forward with all this information. She's awesome. Yesterday, I posted 2 videos. One was my part 2 of the leaking of the medical records investigation, and then a correction, because in the comments of the investigation video, I was made aware by Sarah that she was indeed the person who gave the original batch of court documents to Melinda. That still left question as to why Melinda had deleted a couple of the files on her Google Drive. Because of us pushing about the deleted records, we now know that Melinda has been talked to by the courts. If you were able to catch that video yesterday, you will have seen, if not, I will tell you now, that I have informed the courts of a bunch of different infractions that Melinda has perpetrated in getting these documents, and I quoted the rules that she's broken and everything like that, so that I could hopefully get some eyes over there, because she is breaking rules. And so it turns out those were deleted because they asked her to delete them for leaving up Alexee's social security number, and If you notice the little part that she sends, it also says we also ask. So I don't know what else they asked of her. That's the only part we have right now from there. But they did ask her to do something else that we don't know of. That is why she deleted those documents. And I guess me snitching on her to the courts is at least doing something, even though I am not certain if they're rescinding her press access or not. We will have to still wait and see. From here, we can get into what the 10th woman has said in these messages between her and her source, but first I need to explain a bit of a paradox, and I think you will be able to follow. 10th woman was asked by a fellow TikToker named Brandy Joe about her source. 10th woman believed that Brandy Joe was close with Abby Blabby, a fellow true crime TikToker who is extremely popular and has made TikToks indicating Alexee's guilt. In order to test Brandy Joe's loyalty, 10th woman told Brandy Joe false information. She told Brandy Joe that the source of the medical records was Alexee's sister. A lie, a manipulation, a weird game played, and very, very wrong to have done that. You'll see here on the screen, I have the proof of the message that she sent to Brandy Joe, where the arrow is pointing, and I have the very first screenshot all the way to the left. Melinda just explains that is what she did. So from there, if you can understand that sort of weird inception, we can go into, from the center screenshot here, you'll see there's 4 messages. This is basically all the information from those 4 messages. Let me just go back here. As you can see, this like little bottom one, it doesn't seem to say anything, so I don't think we're missing information. It seems to be all this information here. In the purplish blue is Melinda, in the white is her source. These are screenshots from Melinda sent to Sarah, the person who came forward with all of this, when basically trying to brag or talk about how she has a source and how they are perpetrating lies all over the internet. So they basically are saying, hey, what should we do? This person who I have respect for and I want to tell, but I don't know what to do. And the source says, tell her you got it from a family member. Make someone up. If she can't be trusted, then she won't say anything. But if not, she will tell Abby, and you know that girl won't keep her mouth shut. So you were right. I don't know if she said anything, but Abby suddenly did today. And the source says, I figured, I seen it, I told you they would buy it. Remember that everyone thinks you're cool with that family, so might as well use that to your advantage. Not like you owe them anything. So is this going to come back on you? Everyone is talking about tracking and that the hospital can see everything. And she says, the source, it's fine, let them say whatever. If they track it, it will show up under Renee's name anyways. That's whose name they were printed under. The hospital is the worst for confidentiality. I'm not worried. Okay, I just don't want this to come back on you. I 100% appreciate this, and as you can see, I am one who will never disclose a source. Again, not worried. Okay. So as you can see here, I just moved over these screenshots and I cropped out the last name as to protect the identity of the person who printed these documents, but that is a copy of the medical record all the way to the right, and you can see it is the name Renee on those documents. 10th woman was extremely foolish when she posted these unredacted, if she was ever worried about it coming back to anyone. So where does this leave us? Legally, this doesn't cause a mistrial or anything serious like that. The actual incriminating evidence in this case is not impacted by this individual's conduct. It is good for the defense in the way that they can try to cast doubt as to at least one person's conduct in that hospital. It does not fully make inadmissible the medical records. Should the defense still want to use them, they have that right and would probably waive any conflict that was, brought up by this. Should they be thrown out, the medical staff testimony, as well as baby Alex's toxicology, autopsy results, those would all be sufficient in disproving any implications that the morphine indeed hurt the baby. even if we do not have the exact amount given, because that would have been known via the medical records. And yeah, the broader implications of criminal activity with this leak now lie within the actions of the person who took the photo, of the detective's medical records, and with Melinda for knowing that this happened and putting them out anyways, rather than informing the proper authorities. We now have a lot of stories and admissions from 10th Woman, and if we piece this all together, it's safe to say that it's highly likely a crime was committed by the person who obtained these medical records, as these are state's evidence, and this person snuck a photo of these records, and instead of doing anything proper or good with them, gave them to Melinda. I have a serious hunch as to exactly who it is, since we know when the documents were printed. It was at 10/22 on 4/13/23. It will not be very hard if either side wants to find out exactly who did this from here. Since Melinda has said herself that the only way someone would find out is if she told, well, as you can see from these messages, she kind of has told. Not their name, but she was not smart enough to pull this off seamlessly, and for that I blame her desire for attention. Because if she cared about the truth and not the recognition, she would have been able to pull this off. She would have uploaded these medical records anonymously, properly redacted them so no one would have ever been able to track it back to when and where they were printed, and if she hadn't bragged to Sarah and whoever else she may have bragged to, we may not have gotten this far. Now, I've held my tongue on an issue that was brought to my attention, and I did not publicly respond or speak on this matter because I did not feel it was my place. But it was a secret reason for me believing 10th Woman and Rosa were working together, and so please prepare yourself for the following, as I will be discussing personal information about 10th Woman that I have refrained from speaking about before, but please again, just prepare yourself. Because 10th Woman's son is in prison for murder, I thought that maybe Melinda and Rosa could have connected over that. Maybe Melinda was so keen on defending Alexee because she was compensating for the loss of her own son to prison. This is my message to Melinda now. Now that I know the truth about your source, all I have to say is, in my opinion, you are the lowest of low. To have gone through a trial for your own son murdering his best friend and his best friend's mother who opened their home to him, for you to now turn around and have the indecency to release information about someone else's daughter in their murder trial, someone who's right around the age your son was when he perpetrated his crime against two people in cold blood, you should have known better. No wonder you tried so hard to prove me wrong. You and your leaker are both idiots and could get in serious trouble for this. For you to attempt to blame Alexee's sister in some sick game of trust with Brandy Joe is disgusting and raises serious red flags as to your stability and the things that you're willing to do. And for what? Views, followers, fame? Because it's not for the truth. And it's not to show a different side, as you say. It's self-serving. And since I already have the courts looking your way, I promise the courts will not stop hearing about this until you and the leaker are charged. Ironically, you've made your name off of glossing over the truth and twisting it. And what's going to bring you down is that the person who came to me was wanting to tell the truth, the thing you so desperately fear and despise. I'll have more on this soon, but I wanted to correct the record as quickly as I could. I could not let it stand that we all believe it's Rosa when, no, there actually is some sick piece of shit at the hospital who's working with Melinda. I told you guys I will always come forward with the truth, even if I've been way off path before, because I really did think it was Rosa. But like I said, the truth is what is important in this. I'll see you in the next video. It's your girl Friday. Okay, bye.